Hello everyone, welcome back. We're going to be doing practice problem 5 from the final exam review now. And to start off with, we're going to be doing we're going to be taking down the data as always. So in this problem, we are going to be trying to find the share price, or P0, based on some cash flows that we have coming in. So in year 1, we're going to have cash flows of 12 million, and in year 2, we're going to have cash flows of 18 million. So just take down these cash flows, and in the last year, we're going to have cash flows of 26 million. And we're going to then expect to grow at 5% per year. So I'll just put in 5%. Awesome. So the weighted average cost of capital for this company is 11%, and they have $85 million in cash and $65 million in debt, as well as they have shares outstanding of 30 million shares. So we're going to get rid of these decimals just because they're a little too large. It makes everything a little confusing. So as with almost any pricing thing, we have to find these free cash flows and then get their net present value because they are adjusted over many years. So the first thing that we're going to do when calculating our net present value is we need to calculate this growth at the end. And the growth at the end, we can pull up our fancy thing here. We can find that the growth is equal to the free cash flow of time plus 1 divided by the weighted average cost of capital minus G. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to take the weighted average cost of capital in year 4, and we need to find it in 1 year in the future. So 1 year in the future is actually going to be this weighted average cost of capital, but it's going to be 5% greater. So we're just going to multiply that by 105% essentially. And then off of that, we're just going to divide by the weighted average cost of capital minus the growth rate. And that's going to give us a growth value, or VT, in this case it's V4, of $455 million is kind of our growing value here at the end. So based on that, we're just going to create, we'll first sum this up. So we'll equal sum, and we'll just sum all of these and go boom. So that looks pretty good. It's going to give you errors because these are missing. We'll just enter them as a 0 so that Excel stops freaking out about everything. I guess it still wants to care, but whatever. We don't really care. It doesn't matter. And then we're just going to get our net present value. And to get that, just do NPV. Now you might be wondering, what is your rate? And the rate is going to be your weighted average cost of capital, not your growth rate. Remember, the weighted average cost of capital is the cost, or the percentage that the stockholders expect to receive. And because of that, we're going to use that and not the growth rate for this value. And then you're just going to highlight all the values and hit enter, and that's going to give you your net present value. But we're not done. Remember, we have to figure out what is their expected current share price. So in order to do that, we're going to also, wrong thing. We're going to pull this up. Sorry about that. We need to find our equity, or our value of the business. And I think it's somewhere here. I can't seem to see it, but it's definitely here somewhere. I don't know. I can't find it right now, but what the equation is essentially the enterprise value is going to be equal to the net present value of the future cash flows, as well as it's going to need to add back the cash So we're going to do plus cash, no, not equals plus cash, just plus cash. I'll just do that. And then minus debt. So the stockholders of this company, essentially what this is doing is the stockholders expect this NPV going forward, but they also expect, or they currently have claims over this cash, and they have a reliance to pay this debt. Well, the stockholders don't, but the company has to pay that debt before it can pay its stockholders. So thus, the cash should be added because the stockholders could get their hands on that cash in result of bankruptcy, and they need to subtract that debt because in a bankruptcy they would have to pay this debt before they paid that cash. So that's why those things happen. And then we're going to just get the sum of this, so the enterprise value, or the EV, and we're just going to do the net present value plus the cash minus the debt, and we get an enterprise value of 378 million and a bunch of change on that. I'm not going to read it out, but then we're going to get our price 0, and this is our expected price. And what that's just going to do is it's going to be the enterprise value divided by shares outstanding. And we're going to get that we expect about a $12.60 per share going forward, 61 cents. And if we check our the answer sheet, that is indeed correct. It's maybe a little hard to see. Let me make it a little bigger. You see the answer sheet, $12.61. So that is correct. And I guess we could do it over here too because I highlighted that. So yep, $12.61. If you have any questions on how this was done, definitely feel free to reach out. The biggest mistakes you could potentially face, this is a mistake that I commonly make, is that I don't pull this amount into the future. Remember in the equation sheet that VT equals the future cash flow in T plus 1, not in the current year. So it's very important that you pull it into the next year before you discount it and make it a perpetuity. So hopefully that all helped, and I'll see you guys for problem 6.